Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is series 55, a series in which we're going to be discussing the theme of courage. You're very welcome along, and I'm very excited to be bringing you a brand new series from the park behind the hospital, or my local streets in Morden, in southwest London, whichever I happen to be at on any particular day, and there may even be days when I'm based in more central London as well. I seem to be moving around a lot depending on what's going on. Very excited to bring you the new series and new episodes on courage. We're going to be discussing what courage means, what is involved, what activities might be considered courageous in the past, in the present, maybe even in the future. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what courage means to you too. Welcome to Walk the Pod. I put some journal prompts up on the community chat on Patreon, Walk the Pod's global walking club, and also as a podcast episode, a bonus podcast episode just last week to give you some things to think about so that we can contribute to the theme of courage as we walk around, as a truck beeps in the background. I asked you to think about whether there was something courageous that you have done in the last week, whether that was having a difficult conversation with somebody, but perhaps laying a boundary, creating a boundary in a personal relationship, an interpersonal relationship, all of which is very, very important according to the book that we're going to be reading this month, The Courage to be Disliked by Fumitake Koga and Ichiro Kishimi, the Japanese philosophers behind The Courage to be Disliked, a conversation over several nights between a youth and a philosopher. The youth broadly based on Koga and the philosopher broadly based on Kishimi, talking about Adlerian philosophy and psychology. Adler was considered one of the three giants of psychology, along with Jung and Freud, and considered that everything is about interpersonal relationships, and certainly all of life's challenges are about interpersonal relationships. And so we need courage to deal with issues within those interpersonal relationships, and getting them into a place that we feel comfortable is hard. It's one of the hardest things in life. That certainly resonated with me when I read it in the book, and I'd love to know how you feel about that. Do you think courage is all about interpersonal relationships? I mean, I can think of some examples where courage is to do with the challenges of navigating the world when we are climbing a mountain, diving in the sea, if we are in a conflict situation. Those perhaps aren't so much about interpersonal relationships, because there's not much you can do when you're climbing a mountain to surmount the challenge based on interpersonal relationships. That's got to do with skill at climbing and resilience. So I don't know that all of life's challenges are about courage in interpersonal relationships, but I'd love to know what courage means to you, what you think about all of this, and if you have any initial thoughts before we get stuck in to the book. As usual, you can go to walkthepod.com, you can press the button marked leave a voice note for Walk the Pod, and you'll have 90 seconds to record your beautiful voice for the very next episode. I would love to have lots and lots of your voices on the pod this series, talking about courage. Can be absolutely anything at all. Can be what courage makes you think of, whether that be sensible or silly. And I always base everything in psychology and philosophy, but there's no reason for you to at all. maybe you are an architect and want to leave me a voice note about what courage means in architecture. Whatever, you know, I mean, I think the more angles we get on this, the better, and I can only see things from the angles I tend to look at things from. And you already know what those are, so do get involved. walkthepod.com, and that's also the place where you can join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club. And if you would prefer to type your comments, you can do that on Patreon on the community chat. You can do that on the Discord. Or you can even email walkthepod@gmail.com. What can I see directly in front of me? As usual, I'll be recording what I can see directly in front of me all through the series, letting you know what's in my world. And it is March, it is spring, we have daffodils, crocuses, new growth on the trees and the plants. It's extremely exciting being outside. Having walked all the way through the winter, we can feel like we absolutely deserve the sun on our faces, and to see new fresh green growth everywhere. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you may well be feeling autumnal round about now, so it's a time of change. In the park, something I haven't seen in the park before, an abandoned scooter with a delivery box on the back. Doesn't appear to have an owner, doesn't appear to have a number plate. Quite odd. Don't really know what that's all about, but makes a change from the things that are often in the park. We also have evidence that some of the park land managers have been in and dug up a load of plants in order to put down a load of other plants. So there's lots going on, a couple of tots in the play park, a few pigeons, 1 or 2 brown dogs. And it definitely feels like a time of potential and hope at the moment with all the spring happenings. I'm walking through clumps of daffodils as we speak, and quite enjoying just the air temperature being tolerable for the first time in what seems like a long time. It was properly warm over the weekend. Took the kids to the allotment and they were too hot. And that is something to be astonished at in March, frankly. But it's nice to hear all the birds again. The birds are going nuts at the moment. Every morning, every evening, singing their little hearts out. We have quite a few resident robins who are very melodious, and we have other birds that have their own ways of making themselves known. So I hope you're enjoying the walking where you are. And I think this is my big this is the time of year when I'm really saying to people, have a go at building a lunchtime walk into your routine, or an evening walk, or a morning walk. See what you can do, because you might be surprised by how much better you feel. If you are into science and research will tell you that a short 10-minute walk can boost your mood for 2 hours. That's got to be worth doing. And the preventative benefits of regular walking are sort of starting to come to light as more research reveals that walking is an extremely effective preventative health measure that you can take for yourself. Staves off all kinds of things. Terribly, terribly good for us. So if you want to build walking into your daily routine, now is a great time to start, when it's going to be warmer, it's going to be less challenging to actually do it. And you can use apps like Trundle to record your walk and get a little map of where you've walked, keep track of your kilometres, and even create automatic donations to charity as you walk, which is a wonderful feature of Trundle. So do get involved with that. You can download that in the App Store in the UK. And if you're further afield, you can use Strava or something like that to record your walks and create a bit of a streak for yourself. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime. I look forward to bringing you the rest of the series on courage. I very much encourage you to leave me 90 seconds of your beautiful voice. Let me know what courage means to you. It can be absolutely anything at all. Voice notes are my preferred method because I love hearing your beautiful voice, but if you prefer, you can write me an email. And let's start to put down some of the things that we think about when we consider the word courage. Take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves and each other, and I'll be back with episode 2 tomorrow.